Okay, let's dive into a really fascinating shift that's happening in military technology. We're not talking about huge, faraway data centers in the cloud. No, this is all about putting powerful AI right onto the battlefield, right at the tactical edge where every single second counts.
But first, to really get why this new tech is such a game changer, we need to understand the problem it's trying to solve. And it's a big one. A massive overload of data, all happening in the most high-stakes environment you can possibly imagine.
So, this is the question, right? It's what modern military forces are grappling with every single day. In a conflict zone, you've got information just flooding in from drones, from sensors, from radar. It's a tsunami of data. And the side that can process it all and act on it the fastest, that's the side that wins. Speed is absolutely everything.
Now, at the heart of all this is a classic military concept called the OODA loop. It's pretty simple. You observe what's happening, you orient yourself to the new reality, you decide what to do, and then you act. The whole game is to run through that cycle faster than your opponent. If you can do that, you control a fight. You're always one step ahead.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. A delay of just a few seconds in identifying a threat can literally be the difference between a mission succeeding or failing. Getting bogged down by data isn't just an inconvenience, it's a massive operational risk.
So how in the world do you solve this massive problem of data and speed? Well, the answer lies in this concept that's being talked about more and more, the edge. Let's break down what that actually means.
Put simply, the edge is wherever the action is happening. It's the tank on the front line, the ship out at sea, that forward operating base. It's any place where you have to make a decision right now, without the luxury of a stable, high-speed connection back to some central command thousands of miles away. And here's where you see the key difference. Cloud computing is powerful, don't get me wrong, but it's centralized. You have to send your data away to be processed. Edge computing, it does the processing right there on the device itself. You know, the perfect example is your smartphone. When it recognizes your face to unlock, it's not sending your picture to a server somewhere. It happens instantly, on the phone. That's edge computing in action.
Okay, so that's the theory, but what does this look like in the real world? Well, a UK company called Defence Holdings just announced a new piece of technology that's designed to do exactly this.
They've just pulled the curtain back on a new, classified AI software. It's called Edge Analysis and Identification Support. And this is a direct answer to what they're saying is one of the highest priority needs for the UK and its allies right now.
And you can see right away, this thing is purpose-built to solve the exact problems we've been talking about. It's all about helping operators identify threats more accurately, cutting down on mistakes, and ultimately helping them make better, faster decisions when it matters most.
Okay, this all sounds great on paper, but how does it actually work? Let's take a quick peek under the hood at what this AI is doing right there on the device, at the edge.
The process is actually pretty slick. First, it just soaks up data from all kinds of sensors, radar, infrared, acoustic, you name it. Then, the AI models on the device itself fuse all those inputs together and start looking for anomalies, for things that don't fit. Next, it identifies and prioritizes. It ranks potential threats, so the most important stuff floats to the top. And finally, it alerts the human operator, giving them clear, ready-to-use information. It's all about turning a chaotic flood of noise into a single, actionable signal.
So what does this actually mean on the ground? Well, think about it. You could have a drone that detects a threat and reroutes itself instantly, without waiting for an order from command. Or a ship's crew that gets a crystal clear ID on a small boat in a super crowded port. It's about giving the people on the front lines better information right now, and often using the same hardware they already have.
So let's zoom out for a second. Why is this specific product from this one company getting so much attention? What's the bigger picture here? Because this isn't just some cool new piece of tech. It directly tackles some of the most urgent priorities for NATO, and it lines up perfectly with the UK's own strategic defense goals. And what's really crucial here is that it's a software upgrade that makes existing, expensive hardware smarter, that saves a ton of money. And it helps build what's called sovereign AI capability, which basically means the tech is developed and controlled at home, so you're not reliant on other countries.
And you have to listen to this quote from the company's CTO. He's talking about speed, but not just on the battlefield. He's talking about speed in development. You know, traditional defense projects can take years, even decades. He's claiming they can build and deliver these vital tools in weeks or months. That is a massive disruption to the old way of doing things.
And of course, this kind of strategic shift opens up a huge business opportunity. As more and more allies decide they need to develop their own sovereign digital tech, the market for this kind of thing is just going to explode. A company like Defense Holdings is sitting in a perfect spot to meet that demand.
And that brings us to one last really crucial question. The technology we've just looked at is specifically designed to keep a human in the loop. But as these AI systems get faster, as they become more autonomous, and as they get closer and closer to the action, how does that relationship between the person and the machine change? That's the challenge that's really going to define the next generation of defense technology.